All right, Assassin's Creed Infinite.
Oh,
It's going to be a, and I want to get this right. It's going to be a live service platform. I'm not sure what the fuck this means.
I think this could work. I think this could work. Let's say if it's to the point that you can create your own crew, I'm just imagining like let's say something like Red Dead Online, that type of service, but live where they're always doing updates and doing all that type of stuff and free maps and doing all these weird special events, sort of like a Fortnite, but with Assassin's Creed. If they sprinkle stories and things that are going on, and you get your buddies together, that might be fun. That might be fun.
Did they say that's what's going to be?
They said it was going to be open multiplayer for people, multiplayer. So I'm sure you can throw in your friends. That's the whole point.
I don't know what the hell this is, because they said it's going to be a platform. Like, what does that mean? You know, and they're like, oh, we're gonna have different projects. And I've read this multiple times. Like, what the fuck are they even saying? You know,
the platform is like Fortnite. Fortnite itself is a platform. They just keep building on it. They keep adding stuff. They just keep it's been the same game for years. They just keep building on top of it. Yeah, the different seasons and stuff, but it's still the same game. I think that's what they're saying. Just saying for long term, this is what they want to have, which is no surprise because we see that with multiple games that they have that are for multiple years. We have the Siege game, that's still the same thing going on multiple years. All these add-ons that they're sprinkled on it.
So again, I'm confused. So you like sign up or subscribe to an Assassin's Creed thing, and it'll just put out. You'll have new games available whenever they come out.
It could be like the Fallout 76 that has that subservice. That's a live service that's out there. There's things that you can do, build on top of it, missions, objectives, things pop up. You know, remember with the Hitman, when Hitman would have every week, there was like that what they had a special name for him. There was like the elusive one. And then that would just pop up and everybody would log in just to go find this guy. Maybe they do that in Assassin's Creed in different locations. And they're like, oh, we're opening up this other part of Rome. And now everybody can go and do this for a certain amount of time. And then we'll move to another location. Something like that. I'm assuming that this is going to be a combination of every Assassin's Creed world we've been in. They're going to take all those maps because they already have them all and throw them in to this big world. And we're like, all right, now you select where you want to play. And then they have new objectives and missions in those worlds. And you can play with your buddies. We're just speculating
at this point. We don't even know.
So, yeah, that's what I'm assuming. That's what I'm saying. This is what I'm thinking because they kept saying that it's going to be the best of everything that we've already experienced. So maybe it's all the maps, right? You got all the maps, but we definitely know it's multiplayer. That is for sure. They said it's multiplayer.
Adam, you gave us a long lecture last segment about tempering expectations.
No. That's people. They were saying that's facts. I'm just throwing out what I think would be cool if they have it in there. When they said platform, that's what a platform is. From what we've seen with Fortnite and how we've seen with Fallout 76, how they just keep building on top of it for 2 or 3 years.
Man, I just don't think that the issue with the Assassin's Creed is that they need this type of thing. They already do enough to artificially inflate these games. They're like 100-hour experiences for no reason.
But we just talked about this last week. The whole thing with Valhalla. Remember they said, "Oh, we're not coming back with another one." And like you just said, we've already seen it. What else can they do? So this makes sense. Just go in a different realm. If it doesn't work, it doesn't fucking work. Whatever. We still have the Division, but we'll see. I'm not. Whatever. I'm okay with it. I'm open to whatever they can do.
Jason Schreier posted something that made me laugh. He said, "Seen a lot of really bad takes out there, so I just want to reiterate: Assassin's Creed Infinity being a live service platform doesn't mean it's Destiny or Anthem. There will still likely be solo narrative Assassin's Creed stuff. It'll just be part of Infinity."
But that's what I was saying.
Like, what the fuck does Infinity even mean?
I'm confused by this. This is what I'm envisioning because again, all we could do is speculate right now.
That's it.
So what I think it is just like a subscription service. You log in and it'll literally list every single Assassin's Creed game, and you select it and you play it. That's what I think they're going to do.
We have that. We have Uplay. You could do that on Uplay.
No, because again, I'm thinking, Brian, I'll let you go. I'm thinking of the least minimal amount of effort they could put, and that's what I'm imagining them doing. Brian, what do you think this is?
Okay, you know how Monster Hunter World exists, and then had Iceborne, right?
Yeah.
To me, it sounds like Infinity is just going to be like the base game, and then rather than having like the next Assassin's Creed game, it'll just be Iceborne. type stuff, where it's like, hey, just get expansion.
Yeah.
So just keep adding to what they already
keep
have,
building on it.
and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And then again, people say, okay, like, is that even possible? Like, well, that's what Warframe does. Like, Warframe has expansion after expansion. Like, they have one like almost every 3 or 4, like, well, they used to every 6 months, just expansion on something, where they just add stuff to it, whether it's new weapons, new designs, new environment, that type of stuff. And then people are often going to say, okay, what's the point of that? But then, as Adam said, all these games that come out, they're basically the same game. So it's kind of like Assassin's Creed is pretty much FIFA at this point, where like every other year there's just something, and is it really that much different from the last one? Answer is mostly no. So why should they spend that much time going through all that work of, okay, let's do like a whole new game where we add all this stuff, when they just say, okay, let's have like a base game and then just add stuff to that base game over time, and then grow it like that. And to me, it makes sense, because that's kind of the way that they were going in the first place. Like, we said that FIFA should do the same thing, so why can't Assassin's Creed do the same thing?
The only reason why
I think it's because it's a narrative-based thing. It's not just like a sports game, you know. That's literally the same thing, you know.
You can, but then you can do that with the narrative-based game as well. Again, like, no one says that you can't do it. It's just that we've seen more examples with like multiplayer games, but with a narrative-based game, it's still the same idea. Just add more content to it.
So, but how are they going to handle the different time periods?
Well, we don't know. That could be different modes to it.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I can understand expanding, like in Warframe, it's the same narrative. It's the same world. This is like taking place in different time periods. So how would they even...
Okay, so I'm gonna use an example with the Call of Duty.
No, let Brian finish. He has to answer my question. You know.
Simple. They have the Artemis. That's
the Animus. Yeah.
Oh, the Animus.
Yeah.
I don't care. The sit in the chair thing and you get jacked. The Matrix.
Whoa!
They have the Matrix.
Yeah.
Simple as. So hence the idea is that you will log into Infinity, i.e. the chair, and then you simply choose which time period you want, and that boots up the game you want.
There you go.
I guess. So it's kind of like what I mentioned, just better. I hate and you guys who listen to this show know I hate speculation, because it's based on nothing. I just skimmed this whole blog post of Ubisoft, right? 8 paragraphs. They didn't say nothing. 8 fucking paragraphs of nothing. Just, these are the creative teams we're working on. We're very excited for future Assassin's Creed. Look for more updates. Nothing of substance is in here. What the fuck is this thing? That's all I want to know. That's a simple question. What is Assassin's Creed Infinity? Nobody has a straight answer. This is really frustrating, you know, because we're over here talking all this shit. We're not saying anything, you know. We're no better than these other shitty podcasts that do the same goddamn thing, you know. It's like we don't want to be on that level, but we're forced to because of this shit. Why even announce this? Like, why not just...
They're saying, no, a lot of those that say things as facts, though. They read something like, this is definitely... We're not saying any of that. We're just saying what should be in there from the way they described it. Infinite would be infinite of everything that they have, all the worlds that they already have. And like Brian said, in the Animus, just log in and select where you want to go.
This is a waste of our fucking time if you think about it. Like, why not announce this when you actually can tell us what it is? You know, because
maybe shareholders, maybe they have somebody that they have to show up, that they have something coming down the pipeline.
I'm gonna bust out the Chris thing. Is like, they're just doing this to
for shareholders.
They're like they're doing the whole Assassin's Creed Infinity live service. They're doing the equivalent to SOE to their freaking shareholders. And it's like, live service Infinity, it's never ending, infinite revenue. Excuse me.
That's if it's on every platform. It's one of those where you can just log in on phones and tablets and you name it.
Yeah. I'm not,
How can you? I'm sorry, Carlos. I'm reading this blog post. Like, how can you write so much and say so little? It's almost an art form. Like, you wrote all this shit. This is like 800 words. Nothing. There's nothing in here. It's insane. Anyway,
I'm not a huge fan of these live service games. It's just in principle, because it leads too many times to developers releasing games unfinished or half-assed. Like we have the Anthems, we have the Divisions. We have, even something like World of Warcraft. It's kind of like a live service game. Also, it's one of the original ones, and it's like, yeah, that game looked the same for fucking almost 2 decades. So it's like, even like what 10 years from now, like Assassin's Creed's gonna look the same because it's just a live service. We're just getting expansion packs. We're not getting any rehauls to anything.
But
Who
then
knows?
again, like if I throw Warframe in the mix, it completely reverts everything that you just said. Like, oh, it looks the same. Like, well, Warframe went through, I think, 3 or 4 major updates where they change stuff about the game, whether it's the lighting system, the models, etc.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess it.
No, I was just gonna say that if you think about it, they've been slowly moving into this direction over the years. We've seen it with even now with the Division, which is still going on, Division 2 going around. They keep adding all these different packs and different locations and different islands, and they just keep building. It's still within that world though. And where are they making all their money from? The microtransactions, the different items, the clothing, and all those little gadgets and stuff like that, and hotkeys for your weapons. It's just, they're building on it, and it's been going on, and they said it's going to keep going on for another year of those. So I guess they've tested and say, hey, this model works. So can we do this for Assassin's Creed? Because we have a lot of content, we have a lot of maps, and if we go off of Brian's idea of the whole plugging into the Animus and going to different locations, that really makes a lot of sense. So yeah, I guess this is it. Let's go. Let's do it.
Yeah, I'm still not even if what Brian says with Warframe is applicable to whatever Assassin's Creed is gonna do, it still doesn't really entice me, and I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of live services because it's always they wanted to do this with Red Dead Redemption 2 online, and that shit launched it as a freaking shit show.
Yeah, but they're still updating. There's another update just came out. Was it yesterday or today for that? So they keep building on it, and
yeah, they keep building on it. But when is it too late for someone like me who doesn't really like to play games later, and it's just because the division, like Adam loves the Division. He loves everything to do with the Division. But I'm like, I remembered the Division when it came out, and it was and it was bad. It's like these live services games like that. They're like somehow they're entitled to the benefit of the doubt a year later because of patches, because of new content, because of adding different features that make it playable, like No Man's Sky, like Fallout 76, like Sea of Thieves. Like these types of games, like they take their sweet ass time to get good. And I'm like, why doesn't the development stage, when they're actually developing the game to release it to people who pay, why don't they release it then when it's ready? And it's like,
well, we know we've talked about it where they just have to release it because of shareholders, whatever reasons to give it out for those financials. But the fact that they stick with the game, that's what we should be honoring. The fact that they do that they stick with it, they do the patches, they do the updates. They don't just say, oh, we released a shitty game, but you know what? The next version is going to be awesome. No, they just keep building it and fix it. They listen to the community and whatever you issues. Like that was another main reason I kept sticking with the Division, because they would have their state of the game every Wednesdays. You log in, it's on Twitch, and they would just listen, like, what problems are you having? What are you encountering? And then they had the devs, they'll talk about it, and next week they'll come back and say, all right, we listened, we figured out how to fix that. There's a patch coming and we're doing this. Oh, you wanted this added? All right, we're going to add that. And when you communicate with the community that way, then they keep playing. And then when your buddies are like, remember that shit? You have a friend that says, oh, they fixed that. They did this. They added that. Remember that thing you wanted? They put that in. All right, they did a weapon buff. We can do it. Come on in. And that's how the ball keeps rolling.
Well, if they want to do that, then they should call this early access then. Because I don't see any difference. I mean, same thing with Destiny 2. Remember, Adam, we played Destiny 2 and we were going to the same 3 fucking spots every time. Yeah, there was nothing else to do.
That was it. That Titan land or whatever it was. We were farming. Yeah. That's all we were doing.
That's all we had to do. And then, ask someone right now, 2 or 3 years later after Destiny 2 comes out, they're like, oh, it's so much shit. Well, like, yeah, obviously they're like, there's going to be patches, there's going to be content, there's going to be different things. And it's like, but I played the game like for 20 hours when it came out, and I'm like, this doesn't really seem like the type of game that I should have put this much hours into. It just seems like
was it called Taken King? The first one for Destiny 1, and then they did a re-release and they put some other stuff in. It was $60 also. I think it was
called, Taken King was Destiny 1, yeah.
Yeah, and that was the thing. And I remember I bought it, I played it, I finished it. I'm like, all right, whatever, that was nothing. And then the next year they're like, oh, get Taken King. It was the same thing, just with some add-ons with the expansion or whatever. But still,
I remember that shit, Taken King.
Yeah, I'm like, this is some bullshit. How could you do that? So if they had a service like this, then they wouldn't have to do it, because then they can just sneak it in within the game that you have.
By the way, I finally found something of substance in here. All right, reading this from Kotak shit. Yeah, I said it. According to Bloomberg, which spoke to Ubisoft employees on the condition of anonymity, very interesting. Assassin's Creed Infinity will comprise different but interconnected Assassin's Creed games, with Ubisoft adding more games from different settings over the life of the service.
There you go. That's it. That's exactly what Brian was saying.
All right, see, yeah. That does sound like what Brian said. See, there we go. That's all I wanted. 3 fucking sentences. That's it. That 600 words of nothing, you know? Yo, by the way, cool. I put that shit on a word checker to see how many words it was. There's fucking spelling errors and grammatical errors. I'm like, come on, Eurogamer, man, what's up? But they're European, so they probably don't know how to spell. Like,
that's no excuse, because Eurocard 9 never makes a mistake.
Color shouldn't have a U. Color shouldn't have a U. That's a misspelling.
Yeah, that's right. He's like, what the fuck is wrong with you guys? Rumor, color, like, get rid of that U, man. But yeah, okay, so there we go. So it's going to be, I mean, we'll see. Have to do it, but yeah, maybe Brian's right. Just going to have the Animus and just plug in.
So Tony, like, let's say this comes out, and one of the locations is just going back in that time period where we're pirates again, but we could all be on the same boat. That'd be fun.
By the way, we don't know if this is multiplayer or not.
Oh, it is multiplayer.
We don't know that.
They did say.
They didn't say that.
All their games are multiplayer for all this stuff.
How do we know that?
All these things. Because they said
they just said different Assassin's Creed. Again, I think it's like you have to connect online to play them, but I don't think, like, if I'm playing Assassin's Creed 2, that's not a multiplayer game. You know what I'm saying?
No, but you're not playing 2. You're going to be in that world playing other characters, maybe create.
We don't know that.
You're not.
We don't know that.
He just said it. He just said different. You just read it. Whatever the fuck
but
you just read,
but he didn't say they're going to play with your friends.
He said you're going to be in those worlds doing different objectives, different things.
He didn't say that. He said you're going to be in different worlds. He didn't say what you're going to do in those different worlds.
The universe that we've already seen. That's why we said that it's going to be like what Brian was just saying about plugging in.
Yeah. But again, I'm just trying to say they said nothing about you playing with other people in here. They said nothing about that. That's speculation. Just trying to get that out there.
I just can't.
It's not in there. I don't want. It's not in there. Adam, that's all I'm saying. They didn't say anything.
They must have had something in there in one of those. Everything with the Infinite and online service and all that shit. This would be the first.
Maybe you're reading the Halo stuff.
For
you got the wrong Infinite game. All right, so there you go. Assassin's Creed live service. Here we go.
Here we go. You know what? I mean, all this talking about Assassin's Creed, I'm like, why are we? I know people are excited for that franchise, but I haven't cared about that shit since Desmond died. I seriously,
he needed to die early on.
I didn't care, and like the new one didn't even interest me. No, the other ones interested me. It just seems like they have lost what an Assassin's Creed game is. They're literally turning it into a giant RPG.
Yeah,
I don't know. I just think, whatever. Why not take it to the next level? Just turn it into Final Fantasy Online. There you go. That's what you're getting.